If I say turkey, you probably think Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We're going to see the reindeer. But turkey doesn't have to be a special occasion bird. It can be an any time of the year bird. Fall and winter is a long period of time, and to have turkey only 3 or 4 times, I don't think that's right. So I'm going to show you a few special ways to do turkey in an episode that I'm simply calling Turkey. Turkey Show. The first thing that you're gonna need for this turkey recipe is stuffing. So it's gonna be a good idea that we make the stuffing first, and then while that sits, then we can start our turkey. So in the stuffing, we're gonna start with a little warm pan, just melt a little bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil. And then here I've got some merguez sausage. It's a lamb sausage. It's garlic-less from time to time, and I think it's just a great sausage meat for stuffing. Stuffing always has components like nuts and fruit and sausage, so my sausage is going to be a lamb sausage. So you just want to cut it up into really small bite-sized pieces. I mean, this is going to get cooked really well in our stuffing, so you don't really have to concentrate on the knife cuts. Just make sure that they're small enough so when the stuffing goes in the bird, which you'll see in the next segment, that it doesn't really fall apart. You want it nice and bite-sized. So just like that. We'll do 2 more. So when the pan starts to slowly melt that butter and that olive oil, it's going to be a perfect time to go with some pearl onions. Now these are peeled baby pearl onions. We can just throw those in there. You want to get a nice little crust on the pearl onions, just let them go. And then always add a little bit of seasoning, a little salt, a little pepper. It already smells ridiculous. Ridiculously good, that is. And then just as they start, then you can go in with the merguez sausage. Raw lamb, wash your hands, yeah. Already smells great. You can just let that cook away. So now for the second part of this stuffing is stuffing is going to have bread, right? So the bread that I'm going to choose is croissants. You can cut them in half and blah, 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 or you can just use your hand and tear it up. The large pieces. We're going to add some liquid to this and make this mix very moist. So the big pieces, it's not really the worst thing that's ever happened. Just use your hand. You can buy pre-proofed croissants, like the frozen ones, and then you just kind of leave them out at room temperature and they proof a bit, and then you bake them, or you can go to IGA and go to the bakery and buy croissants that are pre-baked, ready to go. Either or is going to work for this recipe, and I'm just using the ones that I got from IGA. So just some nice rustic tears. Keep an eye on your onions and your lamb sausage. Oh, dude, it smells so good. So a few more croissants like that. And then celery is traditional for stuffing. So just in half with the celery and then in half again. You kind of want all the vegetables the same size. So nice and bite-sized. Like I said, we're going to put this stuffing into the breast, so you want to kind of pay attention. Don't have the celery bigger than the pearl onions or the lamb sausage. Kind of keep it all the same. Just run your knife through it. That's the alarms telling me that I'm on fire right now. Literally, though. All right, just like that. Celery, if you want, can go into the pan just to kind of cook it down a little bit so it's not so raw. just like that. And then give that a little toss as well. And then because we put the celery in there and because we have the lamb sausage in there and we already seasoned the onions, we've got to do one more seasoning just for the celery and the sausage. And maybe a couple cracks of pepper. And then, so we have our croissant. And then our nuts. You can use water chestnuts, any kind of nut you want. I love almond, so I'm going to put almonds in it. My dried fruit is going to be craisins or dried cranberries, just like that. And then a little fresh thyme. And I just, if it's nice thyme, I just take it and peel it right off the stem like that. Maybe a couple more. Just like that. And kind of just break it with your hands. It doesn't really have to be super chopped up or uniform. It's all going to get nice and cozy with each other when we add some cream and some eggs. So there we go for the thyme, the nuts, craisins, croissants, pearl onion, celery, lamb sausage can go right in, just like that. Gotta grab a spoon. And so just mix it up, and the warm celery, pearl onions, and sausage is gonna kind of make the croissant a little moist, and it's kind of just gonna relax a little bit. So we'll give it a nice mix. And so that's kind of like getting the croissant nice and soft. And then what you can do is add a little bit of whole cream. You want the stuffing nice and moist. Whole cream, just like that. And then the binder for it is going to be eggs. So when the eggs and the cream mix together with the bread and it cooks, it's going to make the stuffing nice and solid. So just a few eggs in here. Actually, I'll probably only need about one, but I'm just going to mix up two. Beat it real nice. And just a little bit of egg for binder in the stuffing. Mix it up again. Yeah, this is perfect. You want it nice and moist. You want the croissants to go from that hard stage to super relaxed, mixed in with that lamb fat. It's delicious. So we've got the onions, the celery, the craisins, the lamb sausage, the cream, the thyme, and the eggs. And now because you use that bread and the seasoning from the lamb sausage mix, the bread's gonna soak up a lot of that salt. So you wanna re-season the whole dish again because this is your last chance to season. Adding salt heightens the natural flavor, and this is gonna go into raw turkey. So make sure it's really nice and seasoned. And a good crack of pepper. So give it one final mix and reserve it off to the side. And when we come back, we're gonna debone a turkey and use this as our stuffing for the breast. So stay tuned.
Food supplies for this edition of Coast Cooking with Spence were provided through the sponsorship of IGA Marketplace in Madeira Park. At IGA, we make it easier for you.
We're not gonna do this the conventional way. We're totally gonna strip it down and break this bird down completely. Now, the reason that I'm doing this, and I can't stress this enough, people always have their turkey, yeah? And then they stuff it with the stuffing, and then they cook the turkey. What they don't realize is when they put the stuffing in it, all of that turkey drippings is going into the stuffing. So when the breasts get to cook temperature, the stuffing needs to go to that temperature too. So the breasts cook before you can pull the turkey out. So by the time the temperature of the stuffing is where it should be, the breast meat is overcooked. There's been rarely the amount of times where I've had turkey and been like, wow, that's a perfectly cooked piece of turkey. So we're gonna do something a little different. Now, thanks to God, He made this easy to do. So you can feel the little bone here in the turkey, and on either side of that is the breast, yeah? So just find out where your bone is and then start on whatever breast you want and make an incision. And now this part's really easy. You can just pull it back and you can just follow the bone, right? And just pull the breast off, go all the way down. And if this makes you nervous at all, I mean, all you got to do is just try it. Just try it once. You know, we're going to do so many other things to this breast. So if you're not having the best of luck at the beginning, it's okay. Do not worry. We're going to pound this thing out and you'll be just fine. And then right here, you can see where the leg meets the breast. You can just make an incision and you can see where the breast ends all the way down. Just like that. And you have your breast meat, yeah? Just like that. And now on this side of the bird, you can just pull the leg down, just like that. And you can see that there's a little bone in here. Gotta get the skin off, just like that. You wanna kind of use it and break it, and you can see the bone pop up right there, and just kind of bring your knife around it, just like that, and down. So then that's your leg and your thigh piece. And then same here. You can see where the bone is, yeah? You just chop that off. And now this bone, I don't like to cook it, boom, stock, yeah? And then we're gonna cook this different. So you've got your half a bird, you got the breast off, you got your leg off. Now you're gonna wanna do that to the other side of the bird, but same technique, same process, just take the breast off, take the leg off. So we have our breast here, and we're gonna pound this out a little bit and roll it out. So what I wanna do is I wanna take the skin off of it. We're gonna reuse the skin later, but if you keep the skin on and you roll it in, when you have that roll, you have that skin going on in the inside, and it'll just be raw, uncrunchy, rubbery skin. So we're gonna take the skin off this, and it should be really easy. Should be able to just pull it off, yeah. Just like that, and reserve that skin for this to the side. Okay, and then on the breast, you've got the little bit of the tenderloin here, that can stay on, but you wanna kind of just butterfly it a little bit, not where that part is, but just up here, because we're gonna be deboning or pounding it out. So you want a little bit more surface area. So just get your breast nice and flat like that, and even just a couple more incisions. Booyah, perfect. Now this piece will go in here with this, just like that. You know, wash my hands. I get turkey everywhere. And so with that leg meat, we want to cook that for a couple hours just to really break it down. And the dark meat's really nice if you cook it for a long time and it gets nice and soft. So in order to do that, I've got some duck fat. You can use clarified butter, or you can just use water or a vegetable-based stock if you want to do it a little healthier. And you know, that dark meat breaks down really nice. So I just fill it up with a little bit of duck fat here. It doesn't have to necessarily cover the top. Woo. And a little bit of seasoning, just like that. And then, so for this breast here, and then I'm gonna put that in the oven, but I'm gonna show you that in the next segment. I really just wanna concentrate on this turkey breast here. So you lift it up, lay it down really nice, fold it. I use parchment paper. A friend who I work with, Rory, showed me this, and I was using saran wrap before, and then your mallet just breaks through the saran wrap, but parchment paper has just got a little bit more backbone to it. So you can start, you don't want to use the textured side of the mallet, you just want to use the flat side of the mallet. Use even pressure, and just let's try to expand the surface area of the turkey. All right, that looks pretty good to me. So now, this beautiful stuffing that we made, a little bit of seasoning on the inside, and a little bit of cracked pepper. And then our stuffing, yeah? So we're gonna do a roll like this. So you just wanna put an even amount in here so turkey will go around the whole thing. So, lamb sausage, pearl onions, celery, craisins, croissants equals delicious, hang on. So you just wanna do nice. I mean, if you, I bought a small bird. Like I said, turkey doesn't have to be, you know, a couple times a year. So buying a smaller bird, if you're doing it on a special occasion, like or not a special occasion, like family of 4, dinner time, let's have turkey. So you want to get the stuffing about like this, okay? And then just use the parchment paper with the turkey to do your first wrap. And when I did that, the first part of the meat goes over, right? And then you just kind of want to tuck it in with your hands and start forming the log. Now, let's say you are doing this for Christmas, yeah? And this is a great technique to do it because you can do this like 2 days ahead of time and have it there. And then when your guests come over or when it's time to do it, you just sear it off. And I mean, it's such a really neat way to do this. And so you can continue the roll here. Like that, just get it nice and tight. Using the bottom of the paper, so your hand goes over, and then you use the bottom of the paper to get it nice and tight, like that. Hand over, nice and tight, like that. Okay, so we've got our little roll here. Looks good. Then we can put our little piece of skin kind of over it, just like that, for just a little crispiness, like that. And then comes a really interesting technique. Let me wash my hands really quickly. This is kind of the fun part. So you want to get some saran wrap, and we're gonna make this roll super tight, just like that. So you put your turkey roulade, if you will, over it, and start with saran wrap. And if you have it on your board like that, facing the way, you can roll it really tight. And then go on an angle so you can cover the whole breast like that. And keeping pressure on it so the roll stays tight. Like that, just keep going. You want to get this roll really super tight. Rinse and repeat. So do the one side and then start going on the other side now. Nice and tight. Just form it with your hands, making the log consistently. Keep going. Keep going like that. Okay, that's good. So when you have it at this stage, when you do it on the angles like that, you're making it so you have enough saran wrap to work with at the end. So you can turn it like that on both sides, just like this. And then with your hand, tie it like that. Same to the other side, super tight. This is gonna make it like one size the whole way, super tight, skin on the top, like this. Tie it again. Perfect. So, and then one last part, yeah? Saran wrap. This is a cool part. This really tightens the load. So where you have your knot, you go under it. You just want a little bit of access, maybe like 3 or 4 inches. One knot, like that. And so you have your length and your arm there. So hold this piece of rope and the saran wrap at the same time, and you've got this piece, right? Now just start swinging it. And the string will build up under the turkey breast, and it just makes this roll tight and waterproof because we're putting this in a water oven. We're gonna poach it in a water bath just to kind of break it down so it'll hold its shape. And when you're left with it, you got a super tight tie. And then that piece of string that we left over, just go like that. We'll tie it twice and then cut off the excess, right? And then one more side. Really quick. Underneath the knot, tie, saran wrap and thing, and swing it. Just like that. Make your final 2 ties. Cutting off the excess. And booyah, look at that. It's perfect size from one side to the other. All of the stuffing's in the middle, and we've put a nice skin cap on the top of it. Now, because we've rolled it so much with saran wrap, it's watertight now. Now it goes into a water bath, just like that. Keep 2 thermometers in your water bath and keep kind of a base at the bottom so the turkey roll won't hit the underside of the pan or any of the elements and burn the saran wrap and make it not watertight. So we want to do this for about an hour at about 120 degrees maybe. And once that comes out and then we cool it, when we get back, when you look at these recipes, I'll show you how to unroll it, sear it off, and we'll talk a little bit more about the turkey legs, so stay tuned.
Food supplies for this edition of Coast Cooking with Spence were provided through the sponsorship of IGA Marketplace in Madeira Park. At IGA, we make it easier for you.
So what I wanted to say about the turkey legs is that, so put them in some duck fat. It doesn't have to be totally submerged, just so it comes up to the meat a little bit, and then wrap it in tin foil. Now on the top of the turkey legs, I've done a little grated nutmeg, some cinnamon, and some sage. It's really like winter, fall flavors. Tin foil, oven, 350, 2 hours. The meat will come up off the bone. It'll be nice, beautiful, braised, dark meat. So for the breast, hot pan, a little bit of olive oil, just like that. And then this is our turkey. So you can see that the water bath, it hasn't cooked it fully. It's just held its shape together. And then the skin that we put on the top, so it leaves a nice layer of skin on the top so you don't have that skin rolled in with the meat and the stuffing. So some seasoning. You got to season the skin because the fat's going to render, so you want this meat to be tasty. And then a little bit of pepper, just like that. And then take your breast and into the pan with olive oil, skin side down, just like that. Get it all nice and tasty in there. Now, you got to remember that this is raw. We want the internal temperature at about 155, and then we're going to let it rest for 10 minutes. So I'm going to put this in the oven. We're going to do the cooking and the resting. Run the clock. So I'm just kind of breaking down some of this leg meat from our beautiful turkey, and I want to show you, I've already started the first one here a little early, but I wanted to show you, look at it, I can't even pick it out of the insert here, like it just, the bone comes right out. It's super soft. The skin is quite crunchy still, and that beautiful grated nutmeg and cinnamon on it and a little bit of sage and the duck fat makes all the difference. Like I said, if you can't find duck fat, that's fine. You can use clarified butter or a vegetable stock if you want. And I was also going to say, you know, when we take both of these breasts off, the breasts, and then we do the roll, and then we cook the legs, you're going to have that carcass left over and the wings left over. So save that carcass and the wings and put that into a pot with like some aromatic vegetables like celery, onions, carrots, garlic cloves, thyme, rosemary, peppercorns, and just let that stock cook down, and the natural gelatin in the bones of that carcass and the wings will thicken that water, and it'll make a beautiful jus. So don't discard anything. Keep the bones, keep all the trimmings, you know, try and use as much as the bird as possible. So we just got a little bit of leg meat down there. Yummy. Move this out of the way. Wow, that was hot. And then we've got our turkey here. So it's been nice and browned in the pan, and it's cooked at the right temperature. So you just, I like to just take the ends off here, and if you can see in the middle, it's got that beautiful stuffing right in the middle of it. Wow, that's hot. And then you can just do just a couple slices here. Beautiful stuffing in the middle. You know, it's just a fun way to do turkey, and you can do this ahead of time, and it's great. Like, if you are going to do it for Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything, do this, and you can keep those breasts in the fridge and do it a day ahead of time. So when the actual meal comes, you can just concentrate on hanging out with your family and, you know, doing that sort of thing. So you just cut up the rest of the roll and lay the roll down there, and then. Talking about the turkey stock and stuff like that, as you reduce it, you make your favorite gravy, and you can lay your favorite gravy on top of it, and it's absolutely delicious. It's not something you can do every day. It's not something for the holidays exactly. I hope you try it. I hope you enjoy it. I know I will. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.